Let's go like this. Can we do this? There we go. Now I don't feel so freakishly tall. What's up, everybody? It's Monday. It's Monday the 14th. Everybody's sweating out here. Although today is much more enjoyable than yesterday. Yesterday on my... I have one of those old-timey turbobitators out the back, like an old guy. And it said it was 96 degrees out, and then when it got to the max, it said 98. But I'm not sure if some sunbeam was reflecting on it or something by that point, or whatever. It was hard to imagine that it was 98 yesterday, but it was at least 96. Of course, my weather won't load. You try to go to see the full forecast, and it doesn't load. Okay, well we'll just stay out of there. Let's go to the other weather. Let's go over here. Yeah, today's like 75. The thermometer out back says like 75, which is good. Tomorrow 85, Wednesday 87. By Friday, some cooling. Apparently it's going to rain on Saturday, which is ridiculous because that's when we're going to be camping. We're going to be out camping. Heat advisory remains in effect from noon Tuesday to 10 p.m. Wednesday. Oh, we got a heat advisory. That's how hot it is. It's so hot. We got a heat advisory. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my gird. Let's check down at the job site. Let's see how hot it's going to be down at the job site. Oh, my gatos. Wednesday, it's going to be 93. Wednesday, it's going to be 93 degrees down at the job site. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know. Let's see how I get through the day. I can say that I didn't take a shower last night because I didn't feel like it. And I worked all day in the yard and on my ground project. I'm working on some earths back here, which I might make a short video about once I kind of get to the completing of it. It's a big, long stretch of gravel that I completely dug out. We had to dig out all the stumps. We had to dig out all the roots. We had to dig out all the earth, the greenery, everything. We had to get everything out of there. And once we did get everything out of there, then the gravel started going in. So I had a couple of dump trucks. We're into the teens of yards of gravel, shoveled by yours truly. Because I got the dump truck all the way back there. And then, of course, they dump. And funny story, I had the teenagers back behind the truck. And I was in a spot where it would take a while for me to walk back there. I would have to go around a fence and blah, blah, blah. So we dumped a big pile, and then we go to dump the next pile, but we told the teenagers to take the chains off of the dump gate, and they were like, yeah, okay. And then they were back there messing around for 2 minutes or something, and then yelled back at them like, you got the chains off? And they're like, yeah, we got the chains off. Okay, so he lifts the truck to go dump it, and they had removed neither of the chains. And I gotta find. A picture here. Images. We gotta go to images. Fuck, this is it right here. This is it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. perfect. We need the perfection meme. This right here on the dump truck. Okay. You put a chain back here. There's a chain back here. And you put X amount of links, and the dump gate will open based on how many links you got there. See that? The chain's holding the gate. So imagine there's a bunch of material up here. If you dump the dump truck like this, with the chains on there, some of the material would start coming out of this gap, right? And then if you drove the truck forward in this direction over here, some of the material would be pouring out, and then you could pour it out and it not be in a big giant pile. So you had it set like this, dumped, right? Then put it back down, then pulled forward to dump in another spot. And the boys were back there, and they said, hey, take the chains off. And they were, like I said, they were back there for like a couple minutes. And then we asked, did you get the chains off? And they both came out and said, yeah, we got the chains off. Okay. I will tell you what they didn't do. The thing that they didn't do was take the chains off. They didn't. Nor did they say, I'm confused, I need help, I don't know what's going on. They just did the thing where they go, yep, got it. So the big problem with a dump truck like that, when you go to dump and the chains are like that, and you go to dump and it's rocks, okay? Here's what happens. The rocks get stuck in there, and then you go, okay, well, let's put the gate back down. So then you put the gate back down, but now because it's rocks, they're stuck in the gate. So now the gate won't close because there's rocks stuck in it, but it's wedged, stuck open, but the chains are stuck. So we had to manually shovel out the holes, the little gates. And once we got those kind of shoveled out, we beat on it with a hammer until we got the chains off, and then we dumped the next pile. But in that happening, the next pile was not exactly in the spot where we wanted it, so everything had to get hand shoveled into where we wanted it. Oh, this is what we're talking about right here. Look, I can show you. See, check this out. This is what I'm talking about. So when it comes time to put a gravel area in, look at this. Look at this sexiness. Glorious. Like that, see? The gravel is just, it's coming out of the dump truck, and the dump truck's moving forward, and this guy's watching. He's a watcher, you know what I mean? Oh, this one's even cuter. Look at that. Ooh, look at the cuteness. Look at the cuteness. That's cute. Cutie. Cutie patootie. This is cutie patootie right here. Look at this cutie patootie dump truck. All up in this bitch, as it were. And, yeah. So what ends up happening is when you have these chains in there and you're dumping and then you go to put it back down, all this big gravel just gets stuck in there, right? And so it wasn't exactly in the spot. So needless to say, there was about 6 yards of... There's about 6 yards of gravel in a big pile in the spot where I didn't need it. So yours truly, me, has been shoveling gravel for little periods of time. So I'll do some of that, then I do some other stuff. But today I had to weed all around the bee apiary. The weeds were ridiculous. And the weeds were out of control. Okay? Around the beehives. Probably because people get freaked out around the beehives. So they're like, well, I can't go get the weeds because the bees are going to sting my eyes, which they didn't sting me at all the whole time I weeded around there. So luckily, those people are misinformed. The bees are chill. The bees are chilling, as it were. And so, since the bees are chilling, I got all the weeds up, but it was hot, and I was sweating. and I've had to do a bunch of work on my trailer to get my trailer ready to go camping this weekend. Lucky to say, most of it's done, so we're pretty good on that front. I do have concerns on the age of the tires, though. It's somewhere in my mind. I'm worried about the age of the tires. We'll see how they do. And hopefully we don't die and have a trailer crash, because that would be bullshit if that happened. I don't like that. Oh my God, we got a $50 super chat from Skogs himself for just showing us that dump truck. Well, shit, man. Thanks for the $50 super chat. That's hella generous. As you guys know, Skogs is one of our generous longtime followers around here. And from every conversation I've had with Steven of late, it seems that he is doing great. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. People doing great. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for it. That's my thing. That's the whole reason I'm here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. We better open up the green room today because I was super late. I was super late to streaming today, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I don't even know if we need to address it. Do we? I was just busy and sweaty, and I smelled so bad. And I was covered in dirt. Like, my face was covered in dirt. Like, I just had dirt all over me. Vicky said I smelled distinctly like BO and onions. I said I smell like onions and garlic. That's how strong the hot weather body odor working outside had gotten. I included the garlic. Vicky just said onions and BO. So I had to wash myself. And then I hadn't eaten any food today. So I had to eat some food. So I reheated some Chinese food from the other night and ate that. And then all of the girls showed up. There are 4 ladies in my house right now in varying ages of decay. And so they all showed up, and then I had to deal with some child drama there for a little bit. So we got those things handled. We got the projects done that I needed to get done today, although I will probably add some on tonight once it kind of cools down a little bit, because Vicky keeps telling me to stop working in the sun when it's daytime, but I'm like, but the sun be out. What am I supposed to do? The sun is out. The sun is doing an outro. So I'm like, we got to get up in it and just be out in it and do our thing. I am getting more tan because the sun is shining on my skin. So if anybody's excited about that, I'm not particularly. I mean, if I could bronze up my whole body, I'd be kind of into it a little bit. But I got the extreme farmer's tan going, so it's not that attractive. You know, it's not that attractive. Plus, I'm needing to shed some of my COVID pounds still. I don't know, man. I gained weight during COVID, and getting rid of it has been. I mean, I guess I could go jogging more, and that would probably help. But, yeah. I'm probably eating less Chinese food leftovers for lunch. Probably isn't helping. I'm on top regarding my apistos. The young adult pair is starting to color up, and the male is developing elongated fins, pelvic dorsal, caudal, and will be a gorgeous fish. All right, that's good, Mickham. I'm glad to hear that. I'm in the green room if anybody wants to come into the green room. I don't know. We'll see. I did want to like touch on a bunch of, important news of the day, the topics of things that are happening. I did yesterday. Yesterday I really wanted to talk about things that were that are happening in the world, and maybe we will. We'll see. We'll see if we hit on some of these hot topics. But one of them that I wanted to talk about was the passage of, what is it? The passage of Hormuz, or the channel of Hormuz. The Houthis have been sinking ships. They are sinking ships, and unfortunately, unfortunately, the Eternity Sea had had a pretty severe loss of life when the Houthis rocket attacked it, and then it sunk. But it didn't sink from the rocket attack, from my understanding. I was listening to a pretty informed person talking about it, that they set charges on it after the fact. Like the actual rockets didn't blow up and sink the ship. It had holes in it. But apparently that that ship, the Eternity Sea, my understanding is that it didn't even have any cargo in it, which is, I guess, why it was so easy to shoot a rocket at it, apparently. It got hit by a couple of rockets, and then they boarded it and put charges on it, apparently. They said that there's at least 7 crew members missing from that ship, and that is just awful news. That's just incredibly awful news. But it's this area, the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. You know, what is it? The Strait of Hormuz? I think that's what it's called, right? I'm not 100%. Not 100% because I haven't swam in there, so I don't know, right?
It is the Strait of Hormuz, you are correct.
What's that? We have a
It
caller.
is the Strait of Hormuz.
We have a caller.
You are...
Welcome, caller, to the show.
Hi, first time, long time.
First time, long time. Okay. We need to get your age, gender.
I'm 980. I'm a canine. Oh, wait.
Canine.
Say
So
them.
you're a bear? Yeah. So here's some of the video of the rocket attack. That's when the rockets hit it, but then this is when they put the charges on it and actually sunk it. This is actually the Magic Sea, but the Eternity Sea, they did the same thing. And you know, overall, like, this is some pretty bad news. And one of the aspects that I hadn't thought about, that I was listening to earlier this week, was that I thought was sort of incredible, was the fact that this will severely affect shipping because of two big things, right? One, it's apparently the insurance. I didn't even realize. It's not that I didn't know ships had insurance. Like, obviously, duh, right? You're like, yeah, of course, okay. Typically, the way that those ships are insured is on a percentage of the cargo that they're carrying, and obviously the boat itself, right? But the way that they normally set those rates are based on a percentage, and they use the cost of the cargo as included, right? Because that's the one variable, right? So the boat doesn't like go up in value randomly one day. It just is static. This is how much the boat is. But the thing that varies is the cargo, right? And there isn't really any, from my understanding, there isn't any cargo containers that go through the Strait of Hormuz, right? It's mostly bulk carriers. So, like Mickham said, it's a hub for oil tankers. Yes, oil tankers, but it's mainly, in my understanding, a hub for bulk item carriers. So it could be coal, it could be oil, it could be corn, it could be wheat, it could be sand. There's all sorts of wacky stuff that they bulk ship. So my understanding is that they go, okay, well, how much is the cargo worth? And then you have to set your insurance rate on a percentage of that. And so, like, let's say you have $100 million worth of wheat in your giant cargo container. So previous to these attacks, the rates would be like 1%. So you go, well, it's $100 million, so we need $1 million worth of insurance. But that is just a straight cost for the shipping company itself. Like, you're not getting anything for that $1 million other than some assurance if I don't know, gets blown away by a hurricane or rockets are shot at it. Who knows? On top of the ship itself. So not only are you insuring the ship, but you're also insuring the cargo. But now, two of those rates have gone way, way, way up. Apparently, the cargo rate has gone up to as high as 9%. Most of them are apparently averaged at 8%. So just the insurance on the cargo has gone up eightfold, which is fucking wild. You got to think, like in any business, a significant cost like that going up 8 times is just like COVID. That's how COVID was. Like plywood sheets or OSB sheets of wood were like $8-9, and they went up to $50, and it just meant projects couldn't get done, you know. But then on top of it is that in the past they haven't had to so dramatically insure the seamen, you know. The merchant marines that typically are on these boats, from my understanding, most of them are coming out of the Philippines, and they're adding much higher insurance rates because at least 7 off of the Eternity Sea are at the very least missing, presumed deceased, right? And so obviously the insurance is much higher if your rates, the chances of, people dying on your non-combat vehicle, right? The rates are going to go way up, you know? And so those two incurred costs. And then on top of it, the shipper themselves, the third is the uncertainty in the market. And the uncertainty in the market is 100% being driven by our narcissist, sexual assaulter president, the bumbling buffoon that he is, which is wild. I don't even know if anybody saw that there's some behind-the-scenes reporting that apparently behind the scenes, some of the confidants that Trump's been talking to have been coming out and talking about how, like, his biggest concern is that he just wants people to like him, you know? He just wants people to like him. That's what he wants. He just wants people to like him. They're like on an empathy tour now. Like, we're supposed to be empathetic for this piece of shit who's acted like a fucking maniac for the last 60 years. And like suddenly we're supposed, he just wants people to like him. And it's like, it's like when you if you go to your local pub, right? Let's say you go to your local pub and there's a guy there and all he does is just scream at people and get in fist fights and grab ladies' asses and talk about, and talk shit to people constantly and do all sorts of inappropriate behavior, and then 20 years down the line, it's like, well, Terry just wants everybody to like him, and you're like, you're not doing any behavior that makes anybody want to like you. So, what? And it's like only a true narcissist would be like, I just want everybody to like me, and it's like, then stop doing Nazi salutes, you fucking maniac. It's like fucking, this is all simple shit, It's like a child knows to not do this.
Yeah.
And I did. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't know if anybody has seen this video.
Thumbs up.
Hold on, we gotta deal with the ad block here.
No, not that.
Oh, well, TikTok's probably broken, so can't go to that one. Where is it?
And
yeah, we got a copyright claim last week. So we're gonna need more people like Skogs to super chat the streams around here, so we can just play content and not worry about the copyright claim.
or buy things. But yeah, how did we copyright claim? What did you do?
Oh, I don't know. I played something that got claimed by the robots. The machines just do it. You know,
The drones and
it's not. No one's in charge of it. That's the funny thing is that it's like, I mean, I could go look and see.
right.
Hold on, let me check my copyright. Something. I have no removal requests. I'm not in any kind of danger. What they do is that they claim all of your earnings off of the video. So if we go over to last week's live, it is ineligible because of copyright. And then, yeah, we have to go in here. I mean, frankly, it's kind of a whatever at this point. Restrictions, copyright, see details. Here it is. Oh, it's because I played Lassie. So
Lassie of all.
whoever owns the rights, NBCU DreamWorks Family International, they're the ones that own it. Content found from 38 minutes 20 seconds to 39 minutes 6 seconds, 39 minutes 53 seconds. Yeah, so I mean the content type audio visual, right? It's the audio from Lassie, right? But I think it's contextual to the point that I was trying to make, so I'm not going to go back and remove it and argue with getting stuff back. I told you not to show how to use a vibrator video. Oh, I could. I mean, I bet there is a safe for YouTube how to use a vibrator video, probably. But they'll copyright claim me. So if I play it, more to the point would be that, like, yeah, we need more members and stuff on the channel. If people, I've mentioned this a million times over the years, that like at any point in time, does somebody want me to make content full time? Just hire me to do it. Just hire me to do it. That's it.
Yep.
Ah, fuck. I spilled coffee on my white shirt. Well, I'll look cool. I'll look cool with a coffee drip on my white shirt for the rest of the day. People will be like, "What is that, poop?" And I'll be like, "You're right. It's poop, you psycho." And,
Yeah, that's the go-to in Seattle.
What happened to you? What? Start over.
I said, yes, that's the go-to in Seattle. Nobody thinks coffee in Seattle. It's automatically poop every time.
It's poop. That's what people say. Hold on, let me see if I can get it out. With fish tank water. Does fish tank water do it?
Green and brown. Excellent.
You think fish tank water is green?
Not always. It depends.
Not always. Fish tank water's clear, man. I mean, there's lots of algae in this tank back here because it's getting ready to I got to redo the whole tank. I tried to get Olivia to help me this weekend empty this tank and redo it. And then she was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to paint." So I was like, "Okay." So we did that instead. You know what I mean?
Fun. I do.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember those days.
I love
with
it.
Small ones.
I love it.
I miss
She's the
small
best,
ones.
dude. You know? Like, she's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Although she was being a bit of a earlier.
She being a diva.
Yeah, questionable character out of that one, I'm telling you. She does live a life of luxury. I don't know if that's the right word, but she's having a good time on this planet. Perspective, you know? Things are going pretty good for that one, is what I'm saying.
Good.
What do
That's
you
the way it's supposed.
what do you got going on up on the fucking mountain? What is it, 1,000 degrees out there?
It's 1,000 degrees. Canada is burning everything and standing behind the smoke and blowing it specifically at me. And we have high wind warnings right now. My wind turbine is making lots of noise as we get 45 and 50-mile-an-hour gusts. And yeah, I was trying not to turn the air conditioner on, but I had to give up and turn it on.
Because it's wicked hot.
Yeah, it is in the cabin. It's probably cooler outside with the wind, but I don't want to let the cats out, so swelter we do. But that's all right. I've got lots of power to spare on sunny days. Everybody in town is all, our power's out.
What's that?
And I'm all, everybody in town's power and internet are out. And I'm all, no, it's fine. The joys of being off grid.
Why is everybody power out?
Between the heat and the wind, it's taking wires down and trees down.
Oh, it's just enough to fuck everything up.
Yeah. So.
Hot, sweaty, windy, probably a fire somewhere.
Oh, God, don't say that, please.
What?
I have enough gas to get off the mountain today, but still.
I mean, I said there's probably a fire somewhere. I mean, there's a fire in the Grand Canyon right now, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that, and one of the big lodges is gone, and
in the news over here, 1,500 tarantulas taken care off by customs in Germany at Cologne. What the fuck?
I was wondering if I read that right.
Somebody illegally had like 1,500 tarantulas? Fucking, I don't know if you guys have ever been through customs before, but it can be an interesting experience sometimes. I really will admit it. Although speaking of the customs, one of the things, hold on, let me see if I can find it. One of the groups I'm in, somebody was talking shit about SeaTac Airport earlier today, and one of the things that they were talking about, hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Cake boxes. That is not a treat you want to find when you open a cake box. Okay.
Hidden in cake boxes? What? Like purposefully? Like they were hidden in there, or were the tarantulas just in cake boxes? Did the tarantulas get into the cake?
I think they were hidden in there. Surprise! Here's your tarantula. Let them eat tarantulas. Doesn't have the same ring.
That doesn't have the same ring. Is this the right one? Maybe it's this one. I gotta find it. This is gonna take a second. But what's with all the fucking tarantulas?
An noticeable smell.
Customs officials at Cologne Bonn Airport tipped off by noticeable smell that did not resemble a confectionery. Oh my God.
I don't remember tarantulas really having a smell, but okay.
Well, I bet there's probably other stuff in there with the
Oh, that's cool.
I would guess. Oh my God, I can't find the post. I was gonna find the post, but maybe it's this one. I could find it in here. We didn't find anything in there. Okay, so I don't even know. I don't know. Well, I'll probably never, ever find the post ever again. But I can find a picture of the thing that the post was about, and then I'll have to give you a summary of what was happening.
As airports go, SeaTac not so bad. having flown much times.
You haven't
Anything is
been there. You haven't been there recently.
That's true. It's probably been about 5 years.
It's been under construction, so of course people are complaining.
That's
And
true.
it's an older airport, so people are complaining. And it's a very busy airport, so people are complaining. It's one of those things. Like, it wouldn't matter if you walked in there, got a hand job from Scarlett Johansson, got a piece of chocolate cake, and they carried you to the airplane. No one would be satisfied. It's one of the things that, like, people have got to understand about if anybody is ever telling you about an airport or something like that. No one is satisfied because they were inconvenienced at some point, and that's it, right? Anyhow, the post was about this right here. There's a new bridge. There's a new sky bridge at SeaTac International Airport. And the sky bridge, it looks like this. This is an image of it. Actually, let me see. Look, here's a better image of it. So you go. This goes up. I don't know if this is the escalator or if this is the escalator or what. I don't know. You come somewhere in here, and then you go in and you're like, go up or whatever. But when you get off a plane, you get off over here at this little international terminal, and then you go up this escalator, and then you ride on the walking. You know the escalator that's flat on the ground, whatever that's called, the walking escalator.
I think they called them people belts or transport belts.
Yeah, let's
people
call it
belt
that. The Jetsons. It's like Jetsons style, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, you go along this thing, and then you go back down again. And people were complaining. The complaint was from a guy who was sitting in the terminal to go on a in-country flight, a national, wherever he was going. I don't know. I don't care where he was going. It doesn't matter. He was going within the country. He wasn't leaving the country. He was within the country. He was waiting at his gate, and he was looking out the window, and his complaint was, couldn't you have built a tunnel? This bridge is ridiculous. This bridge is, what the fuck, man? Like, what's up with this bridge? You could have just built a tunnel. And the initial first responses were like, go fuck yourself, you idiot, right? Which, appropriate. Quickly followed by some fairly knowledgeable people that were like, hey, dipshit, there are already tunnels under there.
Yep.
So if you want to build a tunnel where there's already a tunnel, you may have a problem, first and foremost.
Yep.
Second of all, there are shitloads of bits of infrastructure down here that you would have to completely cut off and fuck with if you want to put in another tunnel somewhere.
Right.
That's a problem. And it would be more expensive to make the tunnel. So the first three responses are, hey, dipshit, you're a fucking idiot. Hey, dumb fuck, what's wrong with you? What the fuck's wrong with your brain? What the fuck, idiot, right? Which are all appropriate responses.
Right.
So then he responds with, you know what? I am an idiot. You guys are correct. And then he goes, and since I've been sitting here waiting and seeing all of your glorious responses, I decided to look it up, and it turns out you all are 100% correct. And the reason that this was put in is because this is the international bridge. So the reason that this is like this is because if you fly in from Belgium, if you fly in from Angola, if you fly in from Kazakhstan, it doesn't matter where you're flying in from, you end up in this terminal over here, and you have not been released to the public yet. You go up this bridge, you go through here, and they take you down into customs. Speaking of customs, that's why I had the brain blast to even be talking about this. But I have ridden this. It is pretty reasonable. It is pretty nice. It is air conditioned or whatever. The air temperature is nice. You ride on the escalator. You go on the escalator. The waiting area down there is nice to go into customs. It's all good.
A lot of matches a lot of the newer architecture
Now,
that's gone up with
to be clear,
others.
to my friend on the phone right now, I almost said
I'll
your
shut
real
up.
name. I'm just going to say Witchy Cat. Did not receive a hand job from Scarlett Johansson, so I am enraged.
Yes, I can see why you might be just absolutely annoyed.
Fits of wild rage. Okay? Fits of rage.
Probably all for the best.
I don't know what is happening.
I mean, if you're traveling with your family, that's probably something to skip, but I'm just thinking.
This phone number looks familiar. Hold on.
He likes like to speak.
Oh, it's the state tax lady, so I'm going to send this to Vicky.
Kind of sad when the tax lady's phone number looks familiar.
They changed this whole thing where you got to do your B&O tax quarterly now. For whatever fucking stupid reason. Like, why? You know, whatever. Or, no, sorry, not B&O tax. Other tax, whatever. They changed it so that you got to do it quarterly, and it's just you have to input a report, right?
Yep. I always get mine. I always get a phone call.
Yeah, and so they call me, you know, and I'm like, what's the penalty? And they're like, there isn't one. And I'm like, then why bother? Why are you calling? You have fucking 3 people calling me, and there's not even like a penalty for not doing it. So why? Why do you need to know? Why? What's going on here? Why do we need extra paperwork? You know, but fuck if I know, you know. And there's probably a good reason for it, because there's probably a bunch of companies out there, large companies that are pulling a bunch of tax fuckery at the end of the year. And so they're like, well, we need to get a report from these people 4 times a year. And so we can keep track of what they're doing. And so it's one of those things that probably makes no sense to a little guy like me, who's going to file all of his tax shit all in one big foul swoop at the end of the year. But it probably makes sense because Boeing is in the state and they're probably doing something insane, right?
And the number comes through just often enough that it sort of looks familiar, but distant enough that you forget why it looks familiar.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm like, oh, what is that? Somebody's calling. Who are you? Are you a customer or something? Because sometimes I don't save customers' phone numbers.
Whoops.
You know? Sometimes I don't, because I just don't. I'm like, I talked to that guy, and I'm going to go over there, you know? Do you want to talk about this Epstein situation? Are you interested in it?
Yeah, I'm between that and the whole comments about the extension for Putin and Ukraine. Those are the 2 things that currently have me extra miffled right now.
You got a what now?
Oh, the whole he's giving Putin another 50 days for ceasefire talks to Ukraine, and when asked why, his comment was, it's not Americans that are dying over there. What a guy.
That was his... What? Hold on.
That was his statement. Reporter asked him while he was in the Oval Office, I think, with the Liberian president, why he gave Putin an additional 50 days. And first he said, well, you know, I'm still not completely dialed into what's going on. And then said, but it's not Americans that are dying over there. So.
Let's see. Let's see what he says here.
I mean, this was a very big, what we're talking about today is a very, very big day. And what Pete was doing, and me too, I knew what Pete was doing, was evaluation, because we knew this was going to happen. And now we actually announced it. They voted on it. It's all been done. So obviously that has a big impact on, you know, when you say pause, obviously you're not going to be doing things if you don't know what's going to happen here. But we were pretty sure this was going to happen, so we did a little bit of a pause. But this is a very big event today. This is something very...
I mean, like, first and foremost, what I don't understand is how do Republicans see this and not see that this guy clearly has fucking brain problems, right? Like, I don't know if he has dementia. I don't know if he is a fucking idiot. I mean, I know he's an idiot. There's been a lot of questions about whether this guy even knows how to read, right?
Are you willing to go in response?
In what?
How far are you willing to go if Putin were to escalate, send more
Wasn't there
bombs?
conversation
in the coming days?
about giving
Hold
him
on.
his news brief, his
What?
comics? Nothing. I
Sorry,
said, wasn't there?
Oh, we were listening to the thing. What happened?
Oh, I said, wasn't there a conversation about giving him his news briefs as comics?
Oh
For a while
yeah,
there?
they do like a presentation. You know what I mean? It's like they do a stage show. And what they currently have been doing apparently is producing like a YouTube style news broadcast to broadcast to him like what's going on, because he's too stupid to read. He's too stupid to read about things that are going on. He can't read any of the briefs. He can't sit through meetings. Apparently, he just falls asleep. You know, if we're going to talk about all these people dying and whatnot, and then he just falls asleep.
Like that, how I want to get the war settled. They're not Americans that are dying in it, and you know, I have a problem, and JD has a problem. It's a stance that he's had for a long time. They're not Americans dying, but there are a lot of people dying, and on something that should be able to be settled. And we all agree with that. This group of people, you know, we want to defend our country, but you know, ultimately, having a strong Europe is a very good thing. It's a very good thing. So,
look at all this fake gold shit in the background.
It's so tacky.
The Oval Office is just filled with fake gold. This shit, I actually saw a video about like this exact design is just some shit from Lowe's, basically. Spray painted gold.
I'm okay with that.
That ballroom is going to be awesome.
Ceiling on what the Europeans are willing to pay for, and it sounds like, are you ruling out the U.S. paying for from additional weapons through drawdown authority?
Shall I try to answer that? Because basically what the president is saying, that he is willing, of course, taking consideration what the U.S. needs itself. So it's not that you can have a shopping list and you can order whatever you want, because the U.S. has to make sure that the U.S. keeps its hand on what the US needs, also to keep the whole world safe, because in the end you are the police agent of the whole world. You're the most powerful nation.
Look at this fucking shit in the background. What is this gold bird? What is this, like just straight out of fucking Nazi Germany table? Like, what is this table back here?
On Earth, the most powerful military on Earth. But given that, the US has decided to indeed massively supply Ukraine with what is necessary through NATO.
The gold on all the furniture the same way they apply the gold on his face, or the makeup on his face.
It's a spray, so yeah, probably.
Europeans 100% paying for that, and what we have been doing over the last couple of
Great Britain he was meeting with?
Yeah, that's Starmer.
Is talking with countries, and I just mentioned the ones who in the first wave immediately said we want to chip in. And then you're really talking about big numbers. Take Germany visiting today.
Wing seat.
They're really talking about big numbers.
What?
I said I couldn't remember which guy it was that was stuck in the wing seat when he spoke on this. Him or the Liberian president who...
Can we get some clarity?
I will say that I spoke with Germany, spoke with most of the larger countries, and they are really enthusiastic about this. They want to, and you know, they're willing to go very far. I will tell you, you know, as per your question, how far would I go? They want to go very far. They don't want this to happen. That's why I think from Putin's standpoint, it would really be good. He gets the country's economy is doing very poorly, and he's got to get his economy back. He's got to save his economy. He could save his country in a sense, but the economy can destroyed a lot of countries over the years. He wants to get that economy back. And, you know, he's got a great country for trading and other things. If they could use the assets instead of war, he's got some tremendous potential. That's what I would say.
I just like listening to that shit is like, it's beyond the pale. Like the biggest problem I have is like, how do any of you people listen to that and be like, oh, this is a coherent person? It's just like rambling, insane nonsense from a guy in the fucking Oval Office. And like you said, he did mention there, it's like, it's not Americans that are dying over there, you know?
Nope. Yeah, I don't. And then when he's all, oh, well, I'm not up to date on it all. You said you were going to end it within 24 hours of taking over 24 hours of being in office. So we're 6 months in and you're still not dialed in. I'm confused. Ugh.
I mean, he was president before. How is he not fucking dialed in, you know?
Yeah. He says it's Biden's war after all. Now, when Biden had time to start that one and write the Epstein files, I'm unsure, but
I mean, what I don't fundamentally understand is that Putin invaded the Donbass and Crimea in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Pre-Trump, correct? Obama, got it.
Pre-Trump. Shit in there was going on. And then Trump had 4 years in office as president of the United States of America to get Putin out of Ukraine. Right?
Yep.
He didn't do
theory.
it. And it's not theory. He had 4 years in office, correct?
All right. Yes, he did.
Right? He had 4 years in office as president and could have gotten Putin out of Ukraine. Right?
Right.
He could have. He didn't. Because he's a fucking failure. He's a fucking absolute abject failure. He failed at running casinos. He failed at fucking running an airline. I mean, what the fuck? What kind of jackwagon do you got to be to have a fucking airlines fail when you get bailed out?
Yeah,
What's that?
I said, or a casino, for God's sake.
3 casinos, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, and somehow the I mean, I have my questions on the validity of Trump getting reelected, right? Like, I have my honest questions about the validity of that election. You know, of course, I've been advised by people that are like, well, if you doubt this election, then that obviously casts doubt on the Biden election. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know? By the way, first and foremost, the fucking Trump himself has been running around saying that he won the 2020 election. So if there's somebody that you want to talk to about questioning election integrity, go talk to that guy first. Right. There is no doubt that he is far more influential than I am. And if you want to go to where these doubts come from, go talk to that guy first and then come back to me. Every time that they went to court to argue it, they failed. And I wholeheartedly believe that he managed to hire the right people to help with this last election. And I do question the integrity, especially looking at a lot of the voter polls that exist in Pennsylvania and in New York, where 0 people voted for Joe Biden or for Kamala Harris. That fundamentally makes 0 sense. Obviously, something is fucked up there, right? And if this has happened in a whole bunch of districts, then it really makes me wonder, like, what are we doing here, guys? What I say isn't really going to change anything, obviously. I mean, if I did have a big enough platform, maybe it would, but I certainly don't. So it is what it is. But it really does make me question. It really does make me question the validity of this last election. And honestly, when I see that guy talk, it makes me wonder, like, how anybody is thinking that any of that makes any sense. It is interesting to me to see over the last week the large schism with the people that have been following this insane movement for the last 9 years, who have been shouting at the top of their lungs on every podcast, Fox News broadcast, any kind of cast of anything, about how all of the Epstein files need to be public so that we could get rid of the deep state, right? I mean, that's the narrative they've been running with for the last 9 years.
Right.
And it's weird. It's wild to see the schism that this was the thing that is driving people away. There are no Epstein files. Sorry, guys. That's basically what they've come out with. Pam Bondi said, 2 months ago that she had the files on her desk.
Yep.
And she was reviewing them to get them ready to release to the public. And then after 2 months, there just aren't any files anymore, right?
Yes.
And then she was shouting about how there was children's pornography. Like, what?
Well, it took them that long to realize there was no way they could keep him out of whatever's in there. They thought they were going to be able to airbrush him out or remove those photos or do whatever. And there's just no possible way for it to happen. And so,
Yeah, check this out.
Your memo you released yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary.
I'm still waiting for her and
Miami.
Yeah, they're asking.
To be discovered to be
The
same
question that
person.
they're asking is if Epstein had ever worked for any intelligence agency.
Whether or not he did, and also could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the United States?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey,
I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Trump is super incredulous that anybody is even asking about Jeffrey Epstein. Are you guys still talking about
And
Jeffrey
are people
Epstein?
still talking about this
Huh?
guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time?
got his hair
You feel
dyed.
like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you...
Yeah, by the way, what happened in Texas could have been easily avoided if the people in Texas weren't so fucking rampantly paranoid by accepting federal tax dollars to put in a fucking alarm system, which, by the way, I would encourage everyone to go look up all of the meeting notes and stuff from that are public of all of the people freaking out about how if we get this federal money to put in an alarm flood system, they're going to start surveying us and they're going to take our information and they're going to come take our guns and they're going to do all this stuff. That tragedy could have been easily avoided, which, by the way, these are the people that have been peddling the fucking paranoia for the last 10 years. That the people in Texas were like, we can't take federal tax dollars for a flood warning system, right? These are the people they've been listening to for the last decade.
Yep.
Right? That have led them to allow their kids to go camp next to a river when there's shitloads of fucking flash flood warnings, at the very least on the TV, at the very least on their fucking cell phones, and at the very least public notice, all that stuff. And also these are the people that are encouraging cutting programs like NOAA and whatnot, and the National Weather System, because the National Weather System, as I've told you guys before, they want to privatize the national weather system. There are a bunch of groups of extraordinarily rich people that want to charge you for the weather report. Currently, right now, the weather report is provided free to all of the local news stations, to all of the apps that you use, all of that shit. It's all provided free. It's tax funded. It is a service that we want as Americans, and we fund it with our money. Private interests want to take over that whole system, so you could no longer have a free weather app on your phone anymore because you'll be charged for it, right? They see a monumental opportunity there, and they've been arguing to try and get that from the American people for probably 3 decades now. They've been trying to get it. And this idiot, this buffoon right here, who's trying to obfuscate from the fact that he's been talking, that these clowns next to him have been talking about Jeffrey Epstein for the last fucking 10 years, because this guy was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for over a decade by their own words. There's recordings of him talking about being friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and there's recordings of Jeffrey Epstein talking about how these two buffoons, Jeffrey Epstein and this clown show right here, had been hanging out for at least a decade of their lives.
Go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because
with his daughter, by the way.
I was asked a question
no
about
few pictures of
and my response
little Ivanka
was,
sitting on their laps.
Sitting on my desk to be
But hey,
reviewed.
nothing happened with girls, underage girls.
I mean, obviously things happen with underage girls. That's why he was in prison.
Meaning the file along with the JFK.
I would be terrified
file.
if I was.
Huh? We're listening
I said
to
if I were
we're
to
listening to this.
I'm sorry, I can't hear it. I apologize.
Well, I know. Hold on.
As well. That's what I meant by that. Also,
I can't figure out how to
tens of
play it
thousands of
through
video, they
Discord.
turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no.
All right, just to this comment right here that she just made was that this is child porn. It's never going to be released to the public. Okay. Nobody wants you to release child porn to the public. But what I will say that we want you to do is prosecute all of the people performing in the video. You're the Attorney General. You're in charge of the fucking Department of Justice. And you're like, oh, we have all of these child porn videos. Okay. How much money have we invested in AI? Start using AI to find out who's in those videos and start prosecuting them. At the very least, the minimal effort thing that you could do is start prosecuting all of the people in those videos. That is the bare bones minimum thing that you could do as an attorney general. That is like baseline, right? There's no, that's it. Get to work on it. Find out who they are. And if you can't prosecute them because of your fucking absolute failure of a human being state that you're living in, at the very least, then release those names to the public so we can figure out who the fuck's in all these fucking videos or whatever, right? Like, if they just have umpteen piles of content from this guy, find out who the fuck's in it at the very least, right? And but to be incredulous that the reporters are asking you about the thing that you talked about, that you said just a second ago in this video. In February, I said that I had a file.
No knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video.
And then here's the other part.
Video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what?
So that's the thing right there. She's trying to say, oh, well, we released the video that even though there's a minute missing, that it shows definitively that he committed suicide, right? Which is abjectly undeclarative from the video, and by the way, the fact that it had been analyzed to show that it has been doctored. And there's even a minute missing out of it, which is insane that you would go and doctor a video like that, and not doctor it to just be the full 24 hours. You leave a minute out, right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, and then she goes on to explain that, well, it's an old system. It's a this, it's a that. That's what's going on. Don't worry about it. And we don't need to talk about this ever again, which is insane, right? Like, this is all a topic that they brought up year after year after year after year, right?
Yep. 'Cause they thought it was going to get the Putins.
They've used this to vilify the Clintons. They've used this to vilify Bill Gates. They've used this to vilify, like, who else?
Saran, what's his face? Sarandis? No, what the hell? No. Well, several of the acting community,
Yeah.
but I was thinking Stephanopoulos. There we go. That's who I was looking for.
Weren't they trying to say at one point Tom Hanks was in there somewhere?
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to incriminate anyone, and yet just totally, like, ignore the fact that Trump hung out with that guy for a decade. And I don't know, I don't know about you guys, but, like, if you've ever had, like, a really close relationship with somebody where you hang out with them all the time, you go to parties with them all the time, you go on vacation with them all the time, you do all this stuff, and then to be like, yeah, I don't know, maybe they are doing suspicious things, but yet there's also interviews and video of you talking about how he likes them really young, right? I think it's fairly suspicious. I think it's all fairly suspicious myself. Now, as far as, like, Epstein killing himself, in my mind, like, it is a very high probability that that guy hung himself. That happens in jail. He was on suicide watch. He was staring down the barrel of, I think he was, how old was he when he, let's see.
57, 58, something in there.
No, he was 66.
66.
These are old guys. Donald Trump is really old.
Well, I know Trump is, but he seemed younger. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's partying in the 80s, right? I mean, you're going to have to be, you know, you're going to have to be older. That's how that works, right?
Right.
Like, if you were partying at Studio 54 in the 80s or whatever, right? Like, you're going to be old now. That's how that works. It's the time thing, you know? But he was 66 in 2019 when he died.
2019.
And I just think, like, if you're a guy who had lived that life, I'm just thinking from the standpoint of just being a human, right? And you live this crazy life, and you know you did a bunch of bad shit, and everybody knows you did a bunch of bad shit, so that even if you did get out of prison somehow, like, there isn't a world where you're going to be able to, like, just be on the run. You know what I mean? Like, if you had committed armed robbery a couple of times in 2002, right? And here we are 23 years later, and you broke out of jail, and you, like, let's say you were in Washington State, where I live, and you broke out of jail, and you ran away, and you're in fucking Arkansas now, right? Like, chances are they aren't sending out the helicopters. They aren't trying real hard to track you down. Like, they're looking for you, but they're not trying real hard, right?
Right.
And the chances are you could probably just find some sleepy town in a ridiculously backwater bullshit state like Arkansas, and nobody ever figure out you were the guy from Washington State that robbed somebody at one point 20 years ago. You know, you could do that. If you're Jeppy Pepstein, right, and you break out of prison somehow, and you use whatever, like, weird financial resources or whatever connection you have, and then you, like, fly to Barbados or something and, like, try and hide out. It's like they're gonna find you. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just be who's that Sinaloa guy, the cartel guy.
Oh.
El Chapo. Like, you can't just be El Chapo, basically, right? Like, you can't just be El Chapo. Like, well, I'm in Argentina now. You know, like, people are going to figure it out. And so I think that if you are a person that is 66 years old, you've already had this life, you've already done all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, you're going to be in prison for the next 30 years. And you're staring down the barrel of like, well, I'm just going to age to death in this cell all by myself. It probably seems like a viable option to, you know, self-immolate or whatever, right?
Check it.
Just from knowing humans and being a human and not being hit in the head with a hammer last week, it's like the plausibility is pretty high that he just did off himself, right? So, you know, I think that it's a high probability that is the case. Plus, you have to take into account he was having contact with very good lawyers, and I bet the very good lawyers were like, "This isn't good," and we don't even have, to the extent of my knowledge, we don't have like the visitor log, right? Did Trump go talk to him while he was in prison and be like, "Look, man, you're not getting out. It's not going to happen," because Trump was president when this guy was in prison and air quote killed himself, right? Trump was the president. Trump was the most powerful person in the world at the time that this guy killed himself. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. I don't know if this is actually going to continue to snowball or not. I don't know. My expectation would be that it probably does. I mean, although, like, these people turn their back on all sorts of acknowledging all sorts of things that are going on. Mega have no issues throwing out names, right? Just don't want others to throw out names of their type of people. Yeah, I mean, that's the reality. Yeah, I mean, when you get down to it. And yes, you should not release the pics and videos to everyone, only courts of both all political sides parts. I mean, yeah, like, nobody wants to see the content. We want to see the people in the content prosecuted. And that's obviously the perpetrator, not the victim, right? Like, if you had a video of somebody committing murder, right? And then you're like, yeah, well, I don't know. No, it's never going to be released, right? Like, what are we doing here? Like, you have evidence of about the highest crime you can commit, right? And you're just like, I'm the Attorney General of the United States of America. What can I do? Like, that's bizarre. It's bizarre for them to be a part of the system that is as powerful as it is, and then be like, but there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Joe Biden was president 8 months ago.
Right.
Don't you guys remember that Joe Biden was president? There's nothing I can do about it now. I'm only the head of the FBI.
Right.
What can I do? My hands are tied. I'm only the head of the FBI. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, and how does anybody listen to that? You know what I mean? Like, just imagine if you were like the CEO of a company, the CEO and owner of a company, right? Like, not only are you in charge, but you are the owner, you know? And then just be like, guys, there's nothing I can do. I just have to keep hitting you with this stick. I can't, you know, there's nothing I can do to change it. There's nothing I can do to change with the company policy around here of whacking people with sticks. We just have to keep doing it, guys. I don't know, because at one point in time, there was a different CEO at a company. So what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Do you think Ghislaine Maxwell will ever see the light of day? Or
oh, absolutely not. No way. No way.
have its testimony see a light of day?
Will her testimony see the light of day?
Yeah, because everything I'm reading is like she is chomping at the bit to talk.
Well, I'm sure she is. I don't. People in prison want to do all sorts of things. I don't, you know, like.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's chomping at the bit to do all sorts of insane behavior. You know.
Well, supposedly she has the answers they're looking for.
Who?
Maxwell, she can provide the list as well.
No. She has the
supposedly.
answers of who is looking for the answers. Right.
Right.
Because you're saying that she has the answers that they are looking for, and I say who's they in that instance?
As in the people that are not Bondi, the people that want the list out.
Like the MAGA people that want the list out, right?
Yep.
Now here's fundamentally the problem. There is that like you have a witness that is what do you call it? You have a character witness that is corrupted or whatever. There's a term for it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like you can't trust her to testify to anything at this point, right? Because you have somebody that, well, yeah, I mean, you have somebody that's convicted in a federal prison, right? And then be like, well, let's drag them out. Let's drag them out in their shackles and chains and their orange jumpsuit, right? And all that. And then be like, hey, can you come testify as to who's the thing? They'll say anything, right? It's the same reason why torture is
Not reliable.
It's ineffective, right? It's like doing torture is only you being a bad person, right? Because like you aren't even going to get the result that you wanted out of it, right? It's like you're trying to get some information out of an insurgent or whatever. You torture them, they'll just give you any information. They'll just say stuff. The bad guys are over there. The secret weapons are stashed over there. They'll tell you anything. They'll just make up shit. And I personally think that somebody like Ghislaine Maxwell is probably somebody that has like a communications degree, is really coached in public relations, is used to having those crazy meetings, right? With like obvious suspect clients, right? Like that's somebody that probably has the skill set to sell whatever the fuck she wants to those people, right? So if she comes out and is just like, yeah, the only client we ever had was Bill Clinton, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, oh, well, guess what? We should let her out of prison. Like, that's not good. This is all just that's all a bad idea. Like, you can't trust anything that person is saying, right? Because if there was a trustworthy thing or something that person was going to do, it would have happened during their trial, you know?
Right.
And maybe there is sealed testimony from her trial or something that should be released. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I find it. My whole point for even bringing any of this up is that like, it's if you had the bingo card of like, what is it that's going to drive a big wedge through the MAGA fan club that these people are, the cult. I don't know that I would have put this on the bingo card. you know, like
not have been the call.
I don't think I would have been like, oh, they're gonna not release the Epstein list, and this is gonna that's gonna enrage everybody. And now here's the big problem. Do you understand? This is the thing that people got to realize is that the big problem now is whatever you release now is 100% suspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you release it now and then be like, oh, yeah, this is it. Right? And what's fundamentally is kind of funny here is that this is driving a wedge into a lot of the public commentators, right? And people keep bringing up Andrew Schultz, right? Because the Andrew Schultz stupid podcast, which, by the way, he's not even a very good comedian, but he has a stupid podcast where people go on, and Trump went on it, and Trump sold him a false bill of goods, and it's like, and it's just like another reason why this whole idea of the Joe Rogan sphere of these political people going onto Joe Rogan type podcasts, whether it's the Andrew Schultz podcast or the Road Rules guy. Who's the what's his name? Crap, what's his name? I gotta look him up because I can't remember his name right now. Theo Vaughn. If you got like Theo Vaughn and all these guys and Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan and all these buffoons that hung out with Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and these fucking clown shoe motherfuckers who've been feeding him all sorts of misinformation for the last few years. And then Donald Trump goes on their podcast and just lies his ass off. They don't question anything. Like, that's my bigger problem. My bigger problem is that my bigger problem is that these people, like these comedians, right?
Right.
They go up on stage and they say fucked up shit, right? Like, they go up and they be like, Dave Chappelle's retarded, you know? And you're like, oh, see, he speaks truth to power, right? And you're like, he's look at how ballsy he is. And it's like, they're getting paid to do it. It's not very ballsy to go up on stage and say crazy things, and then somebody gives you an $8,000 paycheck. It's like, you're just doing a job, right? You're doing a dance monkey job, right? And then when it comes time, they go, oh, this guy's super popular now because he's been talking about his foreskin for the last 3 years, right? And they go, oh, this guy's really popular. And then a politician comes in and just says a bunch of shit to them. And then they just go like, okay, okay. And it lends a false credibility to the watchers of the foreskin comedy, right? Who go, oh, my guy didn't even bother to ask any of the questions that I would have asked. And it's because, well, he's in the room with them, and if he thought that he was lying, he would have asked a follow-up question. Whereas these people aren't in the business of asking follow-up questions. These people are in the business of bop-a-da-ba, 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 ha-ha-ha-ha, right? What's that?
Teeing them up and letting them go.
Well, it's not even that. It's that they're not in the business of having a conversation. They're in the business of, setting up jokes. And then once the joke is over, moving on to the next one, right? And so when somebody with a bit of stature comes in and then talks to them, they don't ask a question and then follow up, or ask a question based off of what their response was, right? Because you don't want to vilify the guests coming onto your podcast, because you're going to start losing money because guests will stop coming onto your podcast. But if you're busy telling foreskin jokes, people will come on your podcast because they're like, look, this is a safe space, because they're not going to ask me any follow-up. They're not going to keep asking me nothing. And by the way, the closest that anybody got to doing a slight bit of journalism in all of those interviews with Trump was when Joe Rogan kept asking Donald Trump about what it was like to have become president. And Donald Trump just kept talking about Lincoln's bedroom and shit. And the hallways are really wide and the ceilings are really high up, because he just kept describing things in the White House. And Joe Rogan asked him it a couple of times, and it was obvious the question that he was asking: what did it feel like having become president? Like, the next day, you are the president of the United States. What does that feel like? And it does make sense that Joe Rogan would ask that question, because that is at least a fairly interesting question. It's something that I've never heard anybody ask a president before, right? Like, and that question may exist somewhere, right? Maybe somebody interviewing JFK, maybe somebody interviewing Ronald Reagan. I don't know. I've never seen it asked before, and I've never seen anybody
Respond to it.
I'm just saying, like, from an absolutely defenseless position, ask that kind of question, right?
Yeah.
It's not a gotcha. It's not a anything. It's Joe Rogan smoking DMT and then being like, "Hey, bro, what is it like? What was it like to become the president?" And so, like, I've never seen that before, and I do kind of like. I think Andrew Schultz is a smart guy. I think Theo Vaughn is a smart guy, and I think that Joe Rogan is actually a smart guy. I think those are three smart guys, but they're very gullible because their job isn't to really question anything. Their job is to tell you a punchline. Their job is to get you to laugh no matter what the fuck is going on in an environment where most people are on so many drugs that they're probably already primed to just start laughing about things, right? And if you think alcohol is not a drug and you want to argue with me, that great. Okay, but it is, and people are on the drug of alcohol in all of the places where they go to tell their jokes. I think the funny thing is that a lot of these comedians are being put into a microscope now because of the content that they're putting out there. And it's like, do I like Tom Segura? I liked Tom Segura for a while until you start to realize that, like, wow, this guy, like, is always joking about the dark stuff. But then the reality is he got a bunch of money and now he just talks shit about poor people, right? And you're like, maybe he actually was just the dark guy the whole time. Like, ugh. And suddenly Bill Burr has been elevated to absolute, like, fucking Mensa material. You know what I mean? Like, Bill Burr is pretty smart. I agree with Bill Burr on a lot of stuff. And I do also agree with the fact that these guys, if they're ever pushed, they always go, but I'm just a comedian, right? It's funny. Right. I never heard George Carlin ever say, yeah, but I'm just a comedian, you know? Like, I never heard Richard Pryor go like, yeah, but I'm just a comedian, you know? Like,
yeah.
Whenever they're like asked about something serious, they never just defer to the like, yeah, but I'm just a comedian. It's like they were able to have actual opinions about things and then just stick with them, which Bill Burr has that. I would put Bill Burr on par with the likes of George Carlin, right?
Okay.
And at times, I've actively seen Bill Burr in the face of powerful people be like, why the fuck are you asking me that question? Like, I actually am a comedian, and I feel like, honestly, me even having an opinion is stupid, right? Like, there's pretty famously when Joe Rogan was trying to get Bill Burr to go along with, like, making fun of people wearing masks, right, during COVID. And Bill Burr just keeps going off on him like, the fuck are you talking about, man? Neither of us are doctors, and the doctors are saying this is the best way to help mitigate spreading it around, right? And right. Regularly, like, push back on people like Joe Rogan, regardless of if it's going to have a problem with his career. But people like Tom Segura, people like Andrew Schultz, people like Theo Vaughn and whatnot, they've had, like, a very distinct inability to push back to any like, powerful criticism that they've ever gotten from a powerful person or whatever. They always just defer to go back into, oh, well, I'm back into agreement, because that's the resting position for somebody who's in comedy, right? It's like, you don't want to start arguments and fights and shit with people. Like, we just got to get back to laughing, you know?
Right.
And so it's like, there's never really like a confrontational period that they exist in. And like, Joe Rogan has been able to lord over a lot of these people because he could physically fight them as soon as the microphones and cameras are turned off, you know?
Yeah.
Mickham says Jim Jeffries is still standing up for his things. I'd say, yeah, I would put Jim Jeffries on that list. I would put him there. Yeah. The problem is, like, Jim Jeffries, a great example of somebody who is standing up for things that he believes in. Has actively spoken back to people who are in powerful positions that could, like, screw with his career and whatnot, and is happy to reap the consequences of that for his convictions, right? Bill Burr's the same way. So there is a list. There's a long list of people that are in that category, Bill Burr, Jim Jeffries, right? The bigger problem is that Jim Jeffries isn't getting to interview Donald Trump. Bill Burr isn't getting to interview Donald Trump. Mark Maron isn't getting to interview Donald Trump. Mark Maron got to interview Barack Hussein Obama.
Yep.
Right? Because Mark Maron has a position of legitimacy in the actual world, right? Of not just being like, yeah, but I'm only just going to dick joke all the time, right? Because he does actually have some coherent thought and is willing to push back and to uphold his values, right? But Donald Trump is talking to Theo Von. He is talking to the Nelk brothers. He is talking to Andrew Schultz and all those people. And those people are starting, as dim-witted as they are starting to figure out that Donald Trump lied to them, and they were so fucking gullible just to stand there and milk it up like a bunch of fucking baby-brained fucking idiots, you know? That's the problem, right? I'm saying that this whole thing is entertaining. I don't know, the 200 or 300 people that are going to watch this live streams aren't very popular. That's kind of one of the reasons I like doing it, because it's not very popular.
Okay.
But the 200 or 300 people that watch this live stream or whatnot, I don't know if anybody's actually like swayed by any of my opinions, and I don't necessarily think that you should be. But the thing that I find really funny here is that this is the wedge that is starting to split those groups of people into actually starting to have conversations about the policy that the Trump administration is putting into place, which is the much bigger and much more important conversation that these people should be having. Like I said, Pam Bondi has all of the authority in the world. What's his name?
Kash Patel.
Kash Patel has all of the authority in the world to pursue these people to the ends of the earth and prosecute all of the people on the air quote list, or those videos that she talked about that she had, or the documents that she has, or whatever it is that she has. Those two people have every available resource to any person to a greater degree than anyone ever has at any point in time in history to pursue those people to the absolute corners of the earth. I bet if they fled to the moon, the Department of Justice and the FBI would have the ability to get them and extradite them from the moon, even. Mars, maybe not. So if by any chance anyone ever makes it to Mars, right? They maybe that's a extradition-free zone. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? Would you be able to extradite people from Mars? Would you be able to pull that off?
Nope, don't think so.
Nah, me neither. Well, it's a short stream today. It's a late stream today. We got 2 minutes to 5 o'clock. Mickham says, I like that guy. That's true. Today's show was brought to you by Just Skogs with the big $50 super chat. We very much appreciate it. We love you. It sounds like you were at the beach. At the beach today. Going to have to watch the replay. Admittedly, kind of wish I was just at the beach today. That would be good. I did shovel a lot of rocks, and I sweat the liquid out of my body. It was. I mean, that was good too. We like doing that. Although shoveling rocks is a lot of core strength, and I need to get my core skinnier. You know what I mean? And the unfortunate part is when I do all the feats of strength, construction-wise, all it does is build my core and makes me. What was that? Where was that? Hold on. We got to find that meme real quick.
You're just scary. spotlit.
What's that?
And I said your work area is spotlit. I've been trying to figure out what the bottles are.
They're 2-part epoxy.
There you go.
I gotta find this meme. We gotta find it.
All right. We must find the core meme. Na 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 na.
I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Used to be able to find it. Can't find it anymore.
As you're singing 70s tunes.
I can't find it. I want to be able to find it, but I can't find it.
It'll turn up
Oh,
about 2 days
here it is.
from now.
Nope, found it. It took a second. Somebody put colors over it, and that's why I wasn't identifying it. Here's the this is the meme. There's a much better version of it, but this is the meme right here. All right. Form versus function. This is the old school meme. Consider the body type you see on a Mr. Universe contestant. These competitors stress definition more than usefulness. In fact, when you get these guys in competition, they're at their weakest. I don't know how to fucking read. Well, I don't know how to read handwriting. The wrapped skin look comes from starving and dehydrating themselves. This look stresses out their body bulk and stresses upper body bulk and a trim waist. In short, this is a body sculpture for the sake of show, not for real power, versus the body type you see at a strongman competition. And you can see right here. So you got the V to the P is for magazine covers, but when you have the square shape like this guy right here, this is what actively happens. Like as you do like shitloads of blue collar work, your abdomen just continues to grow thicker and thicker because you're constantly doing all of the shit that grows this, and you're not shrinking down your waist by, you know, essentially harming your body realistically. So I'm getting more and more into that shape now as opposed to being just rail thin all the time, which I got to get back to being more rail thin so I can climb up things faster.
There's no happy medium.
What the fuck are you doing in the background over there?
I'm not doing anything.
What's that noise?
Maybe the fan.
Oh, I don't know what that was. It sounded like you were like sharpening a knife or something. I mean, I wish I was going to be like, oh, that's cool. Is it a big Damascus blade?
The wind is spinning the turbine.
Ah, that's the noise. Occasionally I'm hearing that, which, by the way, is loud as fuck. And I almost said your apartment. It's your apartment.
My box.
Your
In
apartment.
my wooden box.
It's an apartment. It's like a pod. Pod people.
It is definitely a pod.
Pod people on the mountain. All right, I got to get out of here. It's 5 o'clock.
All right, goodbye.